Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Do you remember where you were on November 29th?
Do I remember where I was on November 29th?
Yeah.
I'm sure some of you may have an idea.
Okay, well,
If you're looking for a confession, you're not going to get one.
as a reminder, so on the 29th,
So I know why you're here. And if you want to give me a ticket, go ahead.
Okay, sure. So the ticket is for self-comply with the public health emergency order on November the 29th.
Yeah.
So is this refreshing your memory?
What's that?
Is this refreshing your memory?
Is this coming from a Winnipeg police officer or from a health inspector? Is it actually going to be you issuing it?
I'm issuing the ticket.
Okay.
And they issued me a ticket for basically a gathering that didn't occur because it was prevented from occurring. So I was blown away.
Today I'm going to introduce you to Patrick Allard. Now, according to mainstream media reports, Mr. Allard is the very first Winnipegger to be a victim of Premier Brian Pallister's COVID regulations overreach. Allard was the very first Winnipegger to receive a group gathering ticket way back in November, a nearly $1,300 fine. And since then, Allard's received a second ticket, this time for being part of the swath of tickets laid at the Church of God in Steinbach, Manitoba. Patrick sent me both of his tickets at our special website, fightthefines.com, because he's pleading not guilty, and we are going to help Patrick fight his fines. Let's meet Patrick and get the full story from him. Patrick, you've received 2 COVID violation tickets. Why don't you tell us about them? Because they're both pretty crazy.
They're both pretty crazy, a little bit unique, I guess. The first one, according to one of the mainstream media outlets out here, I was the first Winnipegger to receive a gathering-sized ticket. This was outside City Hall in Winnipeg on November 4th, I believe. And we went there. It was a Hugs Over Mask rally. I'm sure you've heard of them. They're all across Canada. And I showed up, and they had about 24 police officers, Manitoba Justice, ready to meet, little old me, and the rest of the Hugs Over Mask people, and gave us a warning saying as soon as there's a group size of 6, and this was a gathering, an assembly, and as soon as there's more than 6, I'll give an order to disperse. Once you don't, I'm going to start ticketing. And so they pulled me into one of the City Hall buildings and issued me a ticket for the group size there. 24 police officers.
So there are more police officers than people on the square at one point.
That's right. Yeah. In total, well, we probably had about 25 to 30 people showed up that day. It was during the work day. And thankfully, some people still do have jobs here in Winnipeg to go to, the ones that aren't closed down. But they had more cops and more. They had people on. They had justice and police officers on the rooftops taking pictures of us.
Wow! And how much was that ticket for?
That ticket was for $1,296, so $1,296.
Now you were undeterred because you've received yet another COVID violation ticket. Why don't you tell us about that one?
Yeah, so this one is definitely a lot. There's a little bit more to that story. We were heading to a church service at the Church of God Restoration out in the Steinbach area on November 29th, I believe it was, 27th or 29th. Sorry, in or around there. And to see Minister Tobias. He's been on, I believe, Rebel before. Talk about and hear his sermon, even though that drive-in services at the time were forbidden by Premier Pallister. We decided we need to exercise our right to practice our religion, and I wanted to go hear my friend Tobias speak. Well, upon arrival, the RCMP had the entranceway to the church blocked, and this created a backup down the highway, created a dangerous situation. I don't know if you've seen any of the footages. They created this dangerous situation. Some of us got out of our cars and walked up to the officers, and they said, if you cross this line, you will get a ticket. You're not going into the church parking lot. And I said, well, why don't you move the cruiser and at least give us the opportunity to get a ticket, right? If you can't block our way, let us, give us the warning. Fine. Yeah. We'll get a ticket. We want to get to our sermon. Ticket us if you have to. They didn't move the cruiser. There was no gathering. There was some back and forth with the police. They tried to bring in a tow truck. We stood between the tow truck and the van. We were not going to let the police take the vehicle. With a family inside, there was mom, dad, and I think 4 kids in there, and they looked like they ranged from like 8 to 6 months old. Like this was a family they were going to tow, which in Manitoba is illegal to tow a vehicle with occupants. But we were undeterred. We stood in between. Pastor Tobias laid his hand on the van and said a prayer. And it was about a minute after that, they sent the tow truck away. So it was a little bit of a victory. After that, Minister Tobias drives a pickup truck to the highway, gives us a few words, lets us know, let's, all go home and, thanks for coming out. And, it's time to clear the road. That was that. Everybody left in peace. Everything seemed to be pretty normal. The cops prevented the gathering, which we were reminding them the whole time that this does break the criminal code, section 176, in our opinion, which is preventing the church service to happen. They didn't seem worried. They're just following orders, as they keep saying. Anyways, we left. So we were, like what I said, we were given a warning, don't cross this line, and we didn't. One gentleman did. He did receive a ticket, and that was that. I didn't want to put the church in a bad light. So I didn't want, that wasn't the battle I was going to pick and start getting tickets outside of a church, because not the time and the place.
Right.
For that, to disrespect the orders of the cop there. And the officer, he on scene, he was a nice guy, anyways, just following orders. Well, lo and behold, yesterday, which was December 9th, I believe, on Thursday morning, there's a knock at my door. 2 Winnipeg police officers and 4 Manitoba justice officials, 6 government officials for me. You'd think there was an active shooter on my block.
Do you remember where you were on November 29th?
Do I remember where I was on November 29th?
Yeah.
I'm sure some of you may have an idea.
Okay, well,
if you're looking for a confession, you're not going to get one.
As a reminder, so on the 29th,
so I know why you're here. And if you want to give me a ticket, go ahead.
Okay, sure. So the ticket is for failed to comply with the public health emergency order on November the 29th.
Yeah.
So is this refreshing your memory?
What's that?
Is this refreshing your memory?
Is this coming from a Winnipeg police officer or from a health inspector? Is it actually going to be you issuing it?
I'm issuing the ticket.
Okay.
They issued me a ticket for basically a gathering that didn't occur because it was prevented from occurring. So I was blown away. And after that, they went over to 2 more of my friends' house and gave tickets to them as well. And I don't know if they went to anybody else's. So I think now that there was a church here in Winnipeg that lost an injunction hearing on having drive-in services. So the government battled them on that. And then just 2 days later, Dr. Roussin and Palliser decide drive-in services are allowed. So this weekend is the first time that drive-in services have been deemed safe, as long as the people in the vehicle are from the same family. I don't know how they're going to determine that. Even though I can carpool with you to Walmart, and we can go inside Walmart, use the bathroom there, and take some food to go, whatever. Just can't buy jeans. And although you can go get jeans at the thrift store,
Yeah.
So yeah, they gave me the ticket, and I was blown away at that one. To be honest, it just didn't make any sense, especially now that they're allowing the drive-ins. So they're retroactively going back a few weeks to issue these tickets to the people that were at the gathering that never happened.
That is completely legal this weekend.
Completely allowed. I'm going to say allowed because it's always been legal in my opinion.
Right.
But,
good point.
But now we're allowed. You know, the great Premier Pallister has allowed us to park in our vehicles in a church parking lot.
Now, Patrick, I get the impression that you're not much of a troublemaker, actually, that the pandemic has sort of flung you into political activism. And then it's fascinating how just going to church is now an act of political defiance in Manitoba. You've got $2,600 worth of fines in the month of November. I don't want you to pay those fines. I want you to fight them. I think you've probably got a lot better things to do with $2,600. That's why I'm going to connect you with one of our incredible lawyers working on our Fight the Fines cases, and we will crowdfund the cost of your legal fees. The lawyer works for you. He doesn't work for us. And we're going to fight that fine as hard as we can because we think that political protest is completely legal here in Canada, and that's what you're doing when you got the first fine. And going to church is essential here in Canada, and that's what you were doing when you got the second one. So we're going to fight that. We're going to crowdfund, and we're going to connect you with a really great lawyer. No,
I really appreciate that. I mean, like you said, $2,600 can buy a lot of food, or, you know, do some, you know, spruce ups around the home or whatever, but or buy Christmas gifts.
Well, we're very happy to help, and we're glad that you're out there in Manitoba fighting for freedom because, boy, the government there is sure stripping away civil liberties and using the pandemic to do it.
We got it. We need more people to use their voices, and there's more people every day standing up and speaking out, and we just need. I think once everybody starts speaking up, this is over.
Once again, Patrick's just a regular guy doing regular things, and now those things are completely illegal during the time of the coronavirus. And I think this is absolutely crazy. Protesting the government is a right here in Canada. Likewise with going to church. So we've got to put this out of control Manitoba government right back in its lane. The government can't make rules that tromp all over the charter rights of citizens. If you'd like to help us help Patrick fight these two outrageous coronavirus fines, please go to fightthefines.com where you can donate today. And if you're like Patrick, if you're someone that is getting a fine now because you did something that was completely legal just a few short months ago, please send it to me at fightthefines.com. Plead not guilty, and we'll put you in touch with a top criminal lawyer at no cost to you. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you've received a coronavirus ticket, don't pay it, fight it. Send it to me at fightthefines.com, and we'll put you in touch with a top criminal lawyer. And if you'd like to help those people who have received fines continue to fight this government overreach, you can donate to at that special website, fightthefines.com.